I'm Bowling Otter.
And I'm Lissy Sandwich.
And welcome to the BS.
The Bowling Otter Show.
Well, we're going to do something a little bit different. I don't want to be just the only one talking here, right? Well, we want to have a conversation. And anytime we start to have a conversation about the channel that lasts kind of a long time or over a couple of days, we wind up saying, hey, why don't we make a video about it and get everybody's opinion so we could all collaborate here, because we're like in a little bit of a pickle and a lot of things are changing in our lives. And we'd love to talk to you about that and maybe get your opinion on that as well, because all good stuff is happening. Like, I feel good about it. What about you?
Yeah. This is it's like kind of been a lot of adjustments, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
yeah.
Continue. I'm sorry. I asked you a question, then I interrupted. This is what I meant. Continue, my darling.
No, just say that like there are a lot of good things happening, but it definitely has required some adjustments.
Yeah.
You know, and it's continuing to, I think, as we go.
But it's good.
Yeah, but it's ultimately good.
So we were just talking about before we started the video, and we were like, we should stop talking and talk about this on the camera, because there's a couple like topics we want to cover today. And I'm sorry if we branch off into a stream of consciousness into something else.
Oh,
we're just
could very
trying
well
to
happen.
I know. We're just trying to organize our thoughts here.
Yes.
So how
apologies
about
ahead of time.
we're going to talk about the original purpose for this video is to talk about the games that we have started and not finished, and what we want to do about that, because that's our really big pickle.
Yes, that's our huge pickle.
It is. It's mustard banana. But
really big pickle.
Can I use my
Oh yeah, you can use it all.
effect?
Why not? Look, I can do this.
We have our stream deck right
Oh wait,
here.
I don't have
hear
it there.
anything.
Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again?
Do it again.
Where's my my timpani bend?
There we go.
Oh no. Maddie's farts
You guys are going to be subject to farts now.
Oh God.
Because we're allowed to use the buttons now. We've decided.
Really, well, I say
Shut up
to that.
Oh, okay. Well, I say.
But
Non-stop rock.
stop touching. We have to move on.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the games that we started and have not finished.
Yes.
We're going to talk about you were mixing up your medication for a little while.
Yes.
Your ADHD medication.
Yes.
And we want to talk about that and what that's been like for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just like the balance of it all and the vibe of it all. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we were talking about right before we started that if you want to talk about Vyvanse, are you comfortable? Is there anything you want to put off that? I mean, hey, it's you guys.
Yeah, it's whatever. And we put up a video a while back when I got diagnosed with ADHD. Made a video about that. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, you can go watch that if you haven't seen that.
Very, very brave.
It was very fresh for me at that time, I think.
So this was only about a year and a half ago?
Yeah. It's been
maybe?
a very recent diagnosis.
Right before the pancake.
Yeah, right for the pandemic. So it's my fault. I got diagnosed with ADHD, and then everybody got sick.
Oh no!
But I don't know. It explained a lot. I mean, like really, oh my God, it made so much sense in so many situations in my life. Like so much of it was like, oh, of course, like stupid things like that, right? And then you know, in that discovery was also discovering that I could treat it. You know, it's like, wow, I can actually do something about this, right? So most of the treatments are stimulant medication, right? So the one that I was on was Vyvanse, which is basically like extended release Adderall. So you don't feel like that, you know, like I never got like that kind of feeling about it. I was just a little bit more alert and able to focus in on something. And, but
you had a crash.
Yes.
Midday. And that was a big deal for a little bit too.
Yeah, although I think that had mostly to do with the fact that we had an infant at the time.
Oh yeah,
and who was not
sleeping.
Well, of course, we were going through that whole deal, so wasn't a lot of good sleep happening. So I think that was most of that crash in hindsight.
Yeah,
because I hadn't had it as much since getting back on, but. Then my blood pressure started going up.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, what is going on here? And I went through the whole thing about getting everything checked. My heart's fine.
Yeah.
Like my when I'm sleeping, it's fine. I had to do the 24-hour blood pressure monitor, and it's basically we're like, all right, let's see what happens if we stop the Vyvanse. So I stopped it and for like a week, and my blood pressure like dropped significantly.
And this is just in the past week that you've done this.
Yes.
Because you switched medication like about a year in because you didn't like this crash.
Yeah.
And you didn't like what was it? Concerta? Concerta?
Concerta. Yeah, Concerta.
Sorry, Concerta.
I thought it was Concerta forever.
Yeah.
It's Concerta.
But you didn't like that, and then you stopped everything for a while.
Yeah.
And then you said, I think I need to go back on.
Yeah.
So he went back on Vyvanse, and it just spiked your blood pressure.
Yeah, it's just the blood pressure. And like, once it got to that point, it was kind of like, is this...
Like no lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Would fix it.
Yeah, I would be able to like make small adjustments. I would have to take a pill.
How do you feel about taking Vyvanse and a blood pressure pill?
I thought that might be how it works out, because I think without the Vyvanse, what my blood pressure looks like now, it looks normal. It doesn't look like it needs any help.
Right.
So if I'd have to decide that I needed Vyvanse enough to add another medication on top of that with something else that could have its own set of side effects, right?
Yeah.
So because then I'm like treating a side effect.
Well,
of
then
Vyvanse.
what are the side effects of the blood pressure medication?
I don't know what specifically would be. Yeah, we haven't. But like,
will you just be like tired and?
Well, I think like I was really worried about being tired. The last time I talked to cardiologist, I actually said it wouldn't be like that,
right?
Because I wouldn't have to be on something really like super strong.
Oh.
Hopefully.
That's good.
So that the side effects would be minimal.
Yeah.
But still, that's a whole other thing. And then what am I going to follow that up with something to treat those side effects? Like, how long can I chain this out? So, and I have to also think like, hey, I did everything I did in life without being medicated, you know?
You did, but I mean, when you got diagnosed, like you just said, it was such like a moment of clarity.
It was a big aha moment.
And
sure.
And you were like, oh my gosh. And honestly, how you've been since then, having that answer did a lot for you, and just how you navigate your world and how our relationship makes sense. And like sometimes I'm not putting you on blast or anything, but like sometimes like you'll forget something that you said you were just going to do or whatever. Yes. Or I'll find like, and this happens to everybody, and I don't want to, make light of it or make it seem like this quirk when it is something that is really troublesome for some folks. But it's sometimes like, at first your gut would be like, oh, he forgot to. And then it's like, oh, like, it's fine. Like, I get it. There's an explanation. I totally understand. So I feel like you've given yourself a little bit of grace in that department where you kind of go, oh, I have this explanation, not an excuse, an explanation of why I would have forgotten that one thing or why I would have forgotten this person's birthday or whatever, that kind of thing. He's never forgotten my birthday. But you know what I mean? So I think just that weight itself not being on you anymore has done a lot for you. But you've been off the Vyvanse now for about 5 days. And how do you feel?
For about 5 or 6 days, I felt lousy.
Yeah. We were going to stream, and he was like not into it. You were so tired.
The first couple of days, I was just very, very tired.
Yeah.
Felt like I had to sleep all the time. Mm-hmm. And I started feeling kind of like depressed vibes and for like a few days there, but they lifted like all at once. It was, I think it was like day 7, even day 6 or day 7. All of a sudden I woke up and it was like, wow, I feel way better. Like now I feel well rested. I feel like I can just be normal again.
Yeah.
And like, and then, so I felt like it really got past that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, and then I was just talking about how it worked today. I was like super productive at work today. It was great.
Yeah.
And, but then,
well, you have tools.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, maybe I have enough tools, and maybe just the knowledge of the way ADHD works and how I can,
or your brand of it.
How I can, either use that to my advantage sometimes, or at least work around it. Just gives me the knowledge to kind of at least be able to navigate it a little bit better.
Do you know many of the specifics about your particular ADHD? You have the inattentive kind, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's inattentive. Mm-hmm. And I find also that I kind of go through like these boom and bust periods of like productivity.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do any of you have any of these parallels? I'd be really curious. Put it in the comments. Anybody with ADHD or anybody neurodivergent? I'm curious.
Well, it's definitely come into more clarity like recently because I've felt it happening again.
Oh.
And having the context now, I can kind of see, and I can look back and now make a lot more sense of like, oh, this has been happening constantly.
Right.
Where I'll like spend, and it's like over the period of like weeks or maybe even months, like where I'll just be
I didn't know
like
this.
super productive and like getting everything done. And then like another almost equivalent period of like just like just totally like, slogging, letting everything distract
Languishing.
me, just kind of like, oh, look over here. I'm going to look over here. Now I'm going to think about this instead. And I'm going to do this for a little bit.
Yeah.
And like all around the thing that's probably the most important thing I should be doing in the moment. And then all at once, it's hard to, I have a really hard time explaining why or how, but I just get refocused and I just get like motivated, and it's just like,
Are you
man, I'm going to do this now.
In those lulls that you're talking about, are they very distressing for you? Are you feeling some kind of way? Are you emotional? Are you angry?
No.
Any of the big emotions?
No,
Or are you
no.
just like, this sucks? I just feel kind of like blah. Just,
No, it's not even blah. It's less blah and more like exciting, to be honest.
The lulls?
Yeah, because I don't know. I wouldn't call them lulls in mood or lulls and like I'm like talking about lulls when I turn about like being focused on what I should be focused on.
Okay.
I go through these
see.
like month periods where like I am totally pulling everything in and like open to everything, and all of a sudden like all the possibilities are endless, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll find these things to chase, and I'll get into this stuff, and like sometimes it's great, but then like it's at the expense of like what the thing I'm supposed to be focusing on.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll go through like months where I am focusing really well.
Do you think Vyvanse could help with those periods?
It doesn't
Like,
seem
it doesn't
to
seem
have.
like you could sneak in and out.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to
Like
have
go through periods of
solved
using
the
it
problem there.
and not using it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Vyvanse did not fix that part. I can definitely say that now. I think I've never really thought about that before.
Wow,
But
okay.
having like a good bit of a sample size now,
Yeah.
Vyvanse did not fix that. So
Okay,
I
well,
might not have been
that's
getting
an
enough out of it
acknowledgement
to like,
check
yeah.
off.
It's
Yeah.
possible I might not have been getting enough out of it to warrant the cost of it and the side effects.
Do you mind telling them how much it is a
Oh
month?
God, it's like $250 a month.
250, 250
right around there,
for his brain.
thereabouts. It's like give or take a few bucks.
Do
but
you believe it
it's
is his,
because
it's
it's,
his brain?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, no, like
how is that okay?
it's terrible,
but that's
though.
another conversation. That's another conversation.
But that's just because the patent hasn't expired yet. It's you can only
Right.
get the label.
Right.
So like I think actually this year the patent expires. So
Yeah.
the generics will come out of the woodwork and they'll be covered by insurance, and then
Yeah.
everything will be cool there. But
well,
right now
I mean,
it sucks.
so that's where that conversation
Yes.
is. That this has been our conversation between the two of us all day. Just
Yeah.
kind of like, how do you feel? Is it okay? I'm really curious to see if any of you have any firsthand experience with this, whether it's yourself or a family member or a loved one who has gone through this kind of thing, or especially if you have taken any kind of medication like this long term. Has it done anything to your blood pressure? Or if you take blood pressure medication and you have any experience with it, let us know, because we're kind of like, I don't know. How do
Yeah.
you feel?
A lot
Like
of
we
this
have
is
a
so
blood
new at this
pressure
point.
cuff, and he's like, well, like, I guess I'll stop. And so you want to stay off of it for a little bit, just see what happens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If
'Cause,
he goes
like,
back on, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
We'll tell you why.
We'll follow
if
up
you're
again.
comfortable. Are you comfortable sharing all of this?
Yeah, I mean it's fine. I mean
Okay.
this is like another thing. I figure I might as well go off on this tangent.
Okay.
That like I recently read the book that you gave me.
Oh, yes.
Divergent Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Divergent Mind, I think is what it's called. And it was a great read. Really helped put a lot of things into perspective in a lot of ways. Written by somebody with autism who had managed to just be very successful in life and write this book. But it was a lot of it was based on the female perspective, because there's a lot of issues that are mixed up in the medical community there too.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was really just about neurodivergence. And at the end of the book, there was like this passage that I thought was pretty poignant for me, where it basically was saying, like, as you go forward with the knowledge you have from this, like, that it's important to like own and make sure that everybody like around you that you're with
Yes.
understand like who you are,
Your
like
visibility.
yeah, like make sure they understand you, and
You're
like
here.
this is the way you are, and this is the kind of person you are. And that I kind of really took that to heart. 'Cause I'm thinking like, wow, you know what? The people that are like close friends of mine should know this.
Yes.
And I told my boss.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was afraid that he would think that was like a weakness, right?
Right.
But no, he actually was very happy that I told him and said that it's a kind of thing that can make you think like, oh, that one time he said this one thing, it didn't make any sense.
Yes.
Now all of a sudden
that,
like I get it. Oh, fine. That's why that would have happened, and that makes sense, and that adds up, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
It gives you so much clarity as somebody in your orbit.
Yeah.
It gives so much clarity. To the whole situation.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm kind of like taking that approach more. So when we talk about like, you know, like, am I okay with sharing this and this? I'm like, yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just like, I don't find a reason to hide that.
No,
you know?
there's nothing wrong.
Like to pretend it's not there, I guess. You know?
You know, it's such an unfortunate thing in our past that it has been like, oh, you got to be like everybody else. You have to mask and be like everybody. And it's like, no, that is
everything was really just about learning how to mask.
Yeah.
That's really all it was.
I know. And it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I suppose it's always like that to a point. But it's still like
you have to move around about the world in a social manner.
The conversation is totally different now.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally different. Yeah, absolutely. But we digress. But that being said, would you like to move on to the games?
Sure, let's move on to the games.
Okay, because I have so many thoughts and so many feelings, girl. We should put some timestamps in this video.
Yeah, we should.
Should we do a podcast?
It feels like a podcast, right? Feels kind of like a podcast.
Maddie's been like chirping in my ear for like a year about a podcast. He's like, we should do a podcast. And I'm like, there's 15,000 billion podcasts.
There are, but I feel like it would just slot in nicely to what we already do on the channel. You know?
Well, I digress. I said I wasn't going to go off on a thingy, and I went off on a thingy. But so there are.
This is what it would be like. So let us know.
There are 3 games in our recent history that we have left hanging.
Yes.
Right before we started, Maddie goes, "Are you going to name them?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to name them." Yes, because I believe they are all my fault. I really do. I'm going to take ownership here because I feel like it would not be the case. Okay, so working backwards. Number 1 is It Takes Two is hanging there.
Yes.
5 Nights at Freddy's is still hanging there. And Life is Strange, True Colors is still hanging there.
Yes.
So these 3 games, let's take them one at a time, okay? It Takes Two, I have the absolute worst excuse for in the world, and that is that there's a damn anglerfish in the game. And
at the point that we stop.
I am afraid of anglerfish. And afraid of, I think we were dating 3 months.
Yeah.
And you were like, are you afraid of any animals? I was like, anglerfish. I want nothing to do with them. I love all God's creatures, all the flora and fauna in the universe. And I will stomp that with my boot and squish it. I swear. I hate them. And then, so we do the last episode and we cut it off and I think the anglerfish is gone. So about 3 weeks ago, I have to chew my cough drop. That's kind of gross.
All right. Yeah. If this is a podcast and anybody's on audio only, that's going to be great.
Okay.
A
small applause for my chewing. Anyway.
Yes.
So we go back in 2 weeks ago. We pick it back up. We're swimming in the little thingy in the little pool. There's a candy factory, whatever. 5 minutes into the video, anglerfish, whoa, right by.
Right away.
And it was we didn't have a lot of time to record. And I was like, I can't right now. I think I had to pick up our 5-year-old.
Yes.
I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Bye. Let's do it again later. So he was like, okay. I was like, I am not in the frame of mind to do this anglerfish. So to be honest, I kind of just left it there. But that doesn't mean that I'm not open to popping in, because there are some situations where we sit down to record an episode of something and then we're like, what should we play? If we're from scratch. If we're in that situation, I could definitely see us picking it back up.
Yeah.
So it may just wind up, is that where we kind of settled with that? To just kind of be like, well, we'll pick it back up.
Sure. I mean, that's I think that's where we're settling in real time.
Yeah, I don't want to leave it hanging because it is a good game.
Yes.
It got Game of the Year, man.
Yeah, super good game.
Yeah. But I can't bring myself to turn it on and begin with the anglerfish.
Yeah. This is sounding like a Geometry Dash video for me.
It is.
I'm like, oh my God, what am I about to do?
If there's a way that you could play by yourself and I could leave the room and then come back when it's done, I would do this.
But then it wouldn't it wouldn't take 2.
It would take one.
It would take 1.
Oh, God. Well, can it take one while there's the anglerfish
It
involved?
takes one for a little bit,
I
and then it takes
don't
two
know.
again.
I really don't know. But the second one is True Colors. Life
Yes,
is
Life is Strange.
So we were playing that and we stopped it because this is going to be kind of an interesting conversation too. We stopped playing True Colors because I had a death in the family in December and my godfather died and I was very, 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 very close to him and it was really sudden and everybody was shocked. My family is still like vibrating from it 4 months later.
It's still a fresh
And
conversation.
It
Yeah.
really is. And you know what? It just was popping back in my mind again because he called me every single year on my birthday, like nonstop. Some years I was like out partying and I saw him calling and I was like, I'll call him tomorrow, and like didn't call him back. Talk about regret. Pick up the phone if your family's calling you. But I eventually like settled out and, you know, was talking to him like regularly. And I think there were like a couple years out of all of them where I was like, oh, like I'll get back to him, and then like forgot, you know, nothing malicious or like, oh, whatever, like F that guy. But in recent years, we were talking more. And I had seen him for his birthday, and then just really suddenly, he just got really sick, and he passed very, very quickly within like 2 or 3 days. It was like, whoa, you know. And we were in the middle of playing True Colors, which is about death and grief, and I am still just reeling. But this all came back in my mind because it was just recently my birthday, and it's my first birthday without him calling me. So my birthday goes by and I'm like, oh, you know, I just don't feel right. I think I want to go to the cemetery. So, and kind of just visit for a little bit, see where he is. I haven't been there since the funeral. So I say this to Maddie, this is yesterday. And I said, should I go? You know, my birthday was like a week and a half ago. And Maddie's like, yeah, go. You take a ride. So I went yesterday and I found where he is. He's in a beautiful spot in a mausoleum. I feel very nice visiting. I think I may do it again. So as just part of the grief process, I guess. So I'm still kind of working through this. So with True Colors, I do want to go back into it, but I'm feeling a little raw. I know there's no timeline on this kind of thing. Thank you for your patience. This is why I said they're all my fault. But I think I would be distracted. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think there will ever be a time when I'm not distracted by it, you know? But I was kind of like, you know what, this is horrible timing right now. I have this association. I think I just need a moment and
need some distance.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that what I need?
Definitely need distance.
Yeah. But I don't want so much time to go by that I forget or we forget about it.
That's not the same thing as distance, though. You know,
You think so?
like you can have you can still remember everything, but have like an emotional distance. You know,
that's
healthy. That's perfectly healthy.
I was talking to my dad about this yesterday. I called my dad, and my dad, it was his first cousin. They grew up together, and my dad is just heartbroken, isn't he? Just like crushed.
Yeah.
And I called him up and I was like, Dad, I went to go visit. And he said, you did? And I said, yeah, it's like I'm realizing that I'm carrying this grief and I don't know what to do with it. And it's coming in waves, and I'm in a particularly tricky wave just because it was my birthday and I've got this reminder, and he called every year, and like I was kind of coasting for a little bit, and now I feel like it all got dredged up. And my dad lost his parents when he was very young, and, you know, has had a lot of deaths in his life. And he said, you know, like it's always the same, but it's new each time. So just kind of, you have to figure out what to do with it in the moment. And then after a while, it'll get like a little bit more familiar. So maybe I need to get to that place or approaching that place. I know it seems so like a video game, you know, just play the game or whatever. But I don't know. It's complicated, right? Right?
Well, I mean, that game is specifically about that.
Yeah, about death and about like, grief and
it's
sudden
about
death.
Exploring that.
Yeah,
so I mean, that's like super, super fresh. And when your dad says like that, it comes back and it's the same, but it's new.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like basically in like new context, right? It's in like it's coming back, it's the same, but it's in the new context of wherever you are in life at that moment when it came back.
Yeah.
And whatever new experience you have had since then.
Yeah.
And so it's like going back over it's different.
Right.
You know, even if it is the same thing. But
yeah.
I mean, but I think you just need that. I think you need like, you know, by distance, I really just mean time, right?
Yeah.
Distance from the event.
It's tricky because it really has nothing to do with the game. Like, it was a great game. Like, we were enjoying
really
ourselves.
interesting, yeah.
Really interesting. Totally into it. Maybe it is just distance. But again, thank you for being so patient and dealing with my business while I figure this out, because I'm not sure what I'm doing.
I don't think anybody really is. With that sort of thing.
I'm like, okay, so this is what it's like. This is what it is. All right. So I have to kind of make my way with it. Do you know what I mean? And I think I'm still sorting that out. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
And that's probably the I mean, you would know this better. You've been schooled on bereavement, like licensed in it, you know, so you know how to like speak to people about it. Yeah. You know?
Well, still, you know, it's different when you're in it, I guess. But so that's where I am with that.
Oh,
Moving
it's totally
on.
different when you're in it,
So,
I'm sure.
Freddie.
Yes.
We need to have a very frank talk about Freddie.
Yeah.
So how are we feeling about Freddie, Buckley? Be honest.
Kind of think it sucks.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So
like,
maybe this
I don't want to
is
say
both
that
of
it
us.
sucks, but like, I am not enjoying it. It's not fun. Like, there's a lot of things about it. Unfortunately, like, everything I was worried about when the trailer first dropped kind of has come true. All the stuff that I was scared about from the trailer is exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And it's just like a cartoony version.
Well,
and like, it's just these stealth passages. And like, now they're just cramming more and more like enemies in the same area. Like that thing with the endoskeletons, like that wasn't even like, your air there. You gonna make it?
No.
Okay.
Well,
you got your water? Okay.
I know. Cold in the time of COVID.
Like, all they did was like cram a bunch of like robots into a hallway and like called it like a stealth puzzle.
Here's where we're stuck. So we were talking about this a little bit on Twitch. Somebody was talking about Freddie and putting up in the next Freddie video. And I think we were playing it like regularly and we were putting up episodes regularly. And then we got sick.
Yeah.
That's when like the whole country got sick, like right after Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we have to go play more Freddie.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, let's do this instead.
Yeah, it's kind of what started to happen.
And then we went on Twitch and we're telling everybody on Twitch this, and you guys on Twitch.
Yeah, everybody on Twitch.
You were like, yo, abandon it.
Yeah, they're just like ditching.
It's bad.
Chat was just like,
we were like, what?
Don't play that game.
And chat was like, the payoff at the end is not great.
Yeah, there's folks that have seen the Let's Plays.
Leave it. So now we're like, oh man. So now like we're really like deflated about it.
Everybody else saw it. They're like, oh, it sucks. It doesn't even get better. It just stays sucky. It's like, oh.
I know, but we can't leave 3 hanging.
I know.
So I said, why don't we stream and finish it, and then just upload the stream to YouTube and kind of do our best with editing it and kind of making it seem a little bit more cohesive with like the playlist of the game, because I hate doing that. I really don't want to do that.
Twitch replays make terrible YouTube videos.
They do, or at least I think they do.
I don't like watching them for other. What just happened?
What did just happen?
My computer went to sleep.
Did it? Oh my God.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
We're okay. Not the recording computer.
Anyway.
Not the recording computer.
But
you guys wouldn't even have seen that.
No.
But for context, everything in front of us just turned off. So it was like, Anyway. And
I'm still coughing.
Lissy is allergic to...
everything. The allergies are crazy right now. Can we not have allergies in the time of COVID? It's the absolute worst. It's so scary. I don't want any more up my nose.
How about we just don't have COVID?
We digress. Let's come back to the middle. But you were saying that Twitch streams make
terrible YouTube videos.
So, but that's really the only solution I could think of that would make this that would make it more palatable, because I do want to finish it. Like, we have a lot of time into it. Yeah. I do think it would be 10 times more fun on Twitch. So at least because if we begin to get like visibly annoyed at the game in the Let's Play, I hate that being the vibe of the Let's Play, that we're like drained and we don't want to be here. I don't think that's a good mood. I think if we were to stream
watch,
it,
for you.
And it would be hard to hide. Like, we'd be sitting here like, oh my god.
It'd be really hard to figure a way through it. Just be like, again, because I know I could see myself just being like, really? Like we're gonna, and like we would die and they get sent back to some ridiculous checkpoint,
sorry, guys.
and I wouldn't be able to, pretend not to think it was stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, so let's try it.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a regular thing.
No.
I really, really don't. No. But I would like to continue to stream.
So how about we start with Freddie. We just say Freddie.
Okay, we'll stream Freddie.
And
finish Freddie.
Then we will stop and take inventory with where we're at.
You know what we should do? We should try and stream Freddie to try and be with as many of you as we can, to try and do like different times of the day, different days of the week, like really try and mix it up to try and get as many different groups of people as possible when we can, because a lot of people have jobs and school and all kinds of stuff. So I do think, like, I wouldn't mind like some backseat gaming or whatever. Just like tell us where to go, man.
Yeah,
like,
I just want to get to the end of it. I'm not like the game is. It's not one of those games that like is hard and fun, and you really want to overcome it yourself. It's one of those games where it's just like frustrating and annoying, and I just want it to be over. So I mean, tell me whatever you need to tell me to get through it. But
because in just like our regular gaming lives, if we pick up a game and we're not feeling it, we put it down.
Yeah, we'll probably just stop playing it.
The notorious, Steam library, right, of unfinished games. Yeah. Like that's just kind of what happens. And then you think one day, oh, maybe I'll go back through my backlog and pick up where I left off in something. So maybe that's with games like this, maybe that's more of the approach we should take. But it's not our intention at all to leave it.
No.
Yeah. I hate it.
I don't like the idea of being like, hey, when we start a game, we could just decide to abandon it. I don't want that to be the vibe, right?
That's not our thing.
And that's not the way that's not what we're saying. No. It's just more like with the games that we have sitting out there right now. I guess that's for each game has a reason we're not playing it right now. I mean, there's definitely True Colors. I think that one's going to have to sit on the back burner for a little while. But then like Freddie, I feel like it's still a game. I just want to see how the end ends up, because there's been moments and things here and there that have been cool on it.
I am so sorry I'm coughing so much, guys. Ugh.
That's totally okay.
I'm going to take Zyrtec when we're done with Claritin. But I digress.
That's good.
Sorry.
You can let them know that. You all will know that unless you will follow this podcast / video.
Yeah, what is this even? I don't know.
With Claritin.
Maybe we need
some sort of antihistamine.
Talk. What is this video? This is why podcasting scares me to death.
Why?
Because I feel like we would talk about nothing.
Well, that's kind of the idea, though. I figured it would just like, you let it take a life of its own. Let it steer. Let it guide you.
Hey, speaking of things guiding. Speaking of things letting guiding. I know. Speaking of guiding things, did you know that White Castle freezes their little cheeseburgers and you could buy them?
Oh, that's been true forever.
Why have we not done this?
Because they're not good.
The bun is frozen?
Just White Castle. Come on, it's such like it's a meme, like tiny little burgers. But they're not good. I remember it had been a long time since I had been to White Castle, a long time. Mm-hmm. And I had like years, a good decade, I think. And I had played a show in Brooklyn, all right? And I was on my way home, and I remember calling you and being like, yo.
You went to a shady White Castle.
There's a White Castle here. I'm totally going to White Castle on the way home, and I'm super excited. And it sucked.
Yeah. Well,
it sucked.
That's North Jersey for you.
So disappointed.
Well, still, I'm just saying I'm a little bit excited about the frozen
more
White
options
Castle
for reaching
burgers.
White Castle.
But this is what a podcast would be, us talking about White Castle burgers.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
I don't know.
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Let us know how you feel about a podcast.
I was a fan of that.
Yeah. Let us know how you feel about a podcast for real.
Yes.
Because Maddie's been like, hey, I think we should do a podcast.
I think it'd be fun.
That's exactly how you talk.
I think we got a vote. That's a really good idea.
Hey, I have an idea about maybe doing a podcast. I think that might be fun.
Yeah, but we...
We have way too many buttons now.
I know that's way too many. We've done way too much talking anyway.
Yes.
So let's end this, whatever this is.
Yes.
And hopefully this gives some context. But I'm having a really good time regardless. I feel badly that you were feeling so yucky last week and we didn't stream or whatever, but I think it's a great reason.
Yeah.
And I was really happy to see you really got some sleep and everything. You seem to be really recharging.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like where the channel is. I like where we are. I feel like we have these 3 like monkeys on our back. You know what I mean? So we just wanted to clear the air.
They're not cute little monkeys that you would like to stay there.
No, they're baboons.
They're huge, painful monkeys.
They are.
That might kill us. So we would like to get rid of them.
Yeah. Yes. Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments. I'm sorry, I feel like we're giving you like an
Homework.
essay. Yeah, I know.
We're putting this on you. This is your responsibility now.
I know. And then we'll grade it. We'll get our red pen out and put the question mark. You know, when a teacher would just put the question mark. What? And I'm like, this tells me nothing. Anyway.
Anything.
Thank you for listening to us ramble for 35 minutes or whatever this has been.
Wow, 35 minutes?
I know.
Neat.
I know. We could do this a lot.
We do this a lot.
Wow. We do.
This is basically how our lives work, but
I'm going to go cough.
including the coughing.
Yes, I'm going to go cough.
Too. Yes.
Woo!
Okay. All right. Well,
thank you.
I suppose I'll close this like a video, right?
Yes.
So we're going to do some other videos later in another
Lots
point in
of them,
time.
of course.
In the meantime, don't forget to watch us on Twitch.
I kind of hate this. On the
I did that.
Man.
That was me. And if you like this video,
Yes.
please support us on Patreon. Click like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.